Ratty bastards! Today we're going to do another part of how to preserve meat, and today we're going to do it by smoking. Smoking is not what most people think. There are two ways to smoke meat. The first one is cold smoking. That means that you're going to just put it into a smoke chamber or some smoke tunnel or something like that, and yeah, that way you say this. That way you wait a second. Yeah. That way you're going to on a low fire that you constantly put some wood chippers to it. It's going to create smoke over the days that the smoke will create a protective barrier against pathogens from outside and also insects. And the second thing is, by doing it over several days with smoke blowing and the heat, then usually it's going to get into the core of the meat. So I would advise to do that cold smoking between 40 and over 40 degrees Celsius, and that way you can keep fish for about a few weeks and meat for 3 weeks. So or even wait, was it 2 weeks or 2 months? To be honest, I forget part a little bit because I have not done it before. But like we can see, today I'm going to do a warm smoking. Warm smoking is when you're how do you say this? When you do it on a shorter time, but you're going to heat up the meat even more, and that way you can do it in just a few hours. But it must be around 80 degrees Celsius, so it also cooks whatever pathogens are inside of the meat. And yeah, then it will take a shorter time and the smoke will create a protective barrier. Like you can see, this is just an example on how I would improvise smoking. So like when the meat in my fridge is going down, I can preserve meat for this time for 2 weeks if I do this on this method. What do I do? First I'm gonna use the BioLit, and the BioLit is now full of wood chippers, so it's not really burning, but it's more smoking, and yet again it gives some heat. But like you can see, it's smokes like hell. And to keep that smoke from escaping, I put it into a funnel. So I used an old garbage can to get the smoke together, so it doesn't flow away with the wind right away. And if you can perhaps see, if you perhaps can get out of smoke, you can see I put the meat on top onto a stick like a satay, and I put it in small pieces with room between it. Why? So the smoke gets between the meat, so it's cut very fine, so it can go smoke much more faster. And the funnel also keeps the heat together, so now this heat is coming together and getting centralized inside of the funnel. I will go here because the smoke is being annoying. So yeah, that way the meat can get dried and smoked faster and easier. But yeah, it is something that I always attract smoke for some reason. So yeah, first of all, you gotta be careful if you're going to use wood chippers. Don't use wood that is goddamn smoke. Where was I? Don't forget, if you're going to use wood for smoking, it cannot be a wood that has been in how do you say this? Full of chemicals from wood that companies or from works that they throw away. A food that has some chemicals to last longer and under weather conditions. So use natural wood, so that you do not poison the meat with chemicals that came from the smoke. So yeah, that is something you really need to watch out for. and within a few hours of this, this meat will be smoked, and I can keep it longer in case my freezer goes down and I need to save the meat. Yeah, like I said, I attract smoke for some reason, so yeah, I will keep this smoking gun on for a few hours and then it should be ready. So yeah, I will show you the result when it's done. Just a small tip: if you're going to use a smoke tunnel or a smoke cabin or anything like this, if you're going to smoke your meat, then I would suggest to put a hole beneath it so oxygen gets blown in and the smoke get blown up. So that's just a little tip for more efficiency. So now, as you can see, the smoke has gone a little bit less, but there is still smoke coming up. The heat is now at point, it's around 80 degrees Celsius, and yeah, at the same time the meat is drying. The meat is not really cooking or baking like now. That's not really the point. The point is to get it a little bit heated up and get a smoke layer around it. So yeah, it will. I will put in some chips now and then, so there is still some little bit smoke, and keep the fire on. And after a few hours, this will be smoked meat. Alright, so it's been a couple of hours while it was smoking. In the meantime, I have done my laundry with my washing clock, which you can see a video about it. And yeah, because that's one thing you can do with this. Many people say, why do you do all these chores? It's faster with machines and this and that. Well, to be honest, yeah, you just keep on being busy. I'm never bored. I never have a moment, not always, but I'm always busy, and that's something that keeps you going. You have never a day that you are like, what should I do now? Well, I've done my laundry and I've done this, and then I have time to do other fun stuff actually. So, but that's just to the point. So, I've been how do you say this? Keep doing putting some wood chips in these things from now and then, so there is still some heat and still some smoke to dry it out. And if you can see it, it's not really like I said big, because it's around 80 degrees, but the smoke and the heat and dried it out, and I've put a layer on it, and I don't know if you are able to hear it, but it's like really hard. It's like almost crispy. It's not really crispy like from baking, but you can see it's like you put some nail polish around it and it's stiff like from that. The smoke has done the same effect to this, so that means that it worked. So I can keep this meat now for a long time, not for a long time, but for a longer time in my pantry stock. So this will go around 1 to 2 weeks. So that's not really bad for something I just picked around here and I used from other stuff that was left over from other stuff like processing wood that I chopped. So yeah, it is a very good way to save some meat if your freezer is down, or on a bug out situation you can take some meat from a small game that you hunted and you just smoke it till it's you can last it for longer during your journey, so you do not have to eat everything or keep in a bag so it can spoil or getting full of pathogens that might be turn out to be dangerous a few days later. So yeah, as you can see, it's now smoked out. My little violet, which is the thing about this is you have to keep the temperature not too high, because when this is high, it's really efficient. It's almost no smoke and it gives a lot of heat. But I have put it with on purpose the temperature down, so it's a more smoldering, smaller fire burning. It's not now that efficient that way, but it's a good way to smoke it your meat. So that's another benefit of the BioLit, that you can use it to your advantage. So I hope you. Another thing I want to mention about this if you want to make this more efficient, but I done it on purpose without any prep work, so it's more like for when you do it on a bugging out. If you're going to do this on bugging it, it would be more efficient if you rub your meat in front with salt or pickle it before to make it even last longer. So yeah, that's another tip you can do. Subscribe, I would really appreciate it. If you got any other tips about this, or if you want to correct me on about the temperature, about temperatures, yes, let me know, because I think I got a little bit wrong. So do your research before you do this again, because yeah, it's perhaps not always that to point. Yeah, leave a like and such, and thank you for watching, and I hope you will have a good life. See you next video.